3 steps to $1 million practice, because less is more. We're going to start with where to find today's wealth. A lot of people don't know where to go to find incredible amounts of wealth. So I'm going to talk about that. That's number one. Number two, we're going to talk about the 3 pillars of wealth, which will give you the framework to share ideas that are complex, sophisticated, savvy, and at the same time will help you determine whether a prospect is even a good fit before you ever meet them. So next, we're going to talk about setting a minimum, which is something that I'm always harping on because so few advisors have a minimum, which cripples them because every time they get going, they fall back down to the bottom and work with anybody. So setting a minimum is paramount, and the 3 pillars of wealth and where to find money adds on top of setting a minimum. Okay, let's get rocking with where to find today's wealth. And there's just some ideas here I'm going to walk through. This is a quick video, so I'm just going to go through them. One of the places I found that has been great is the business journal. You know, whether if you live in a major city, you have a business journal more than likely. If you don't live in a major city, you might live somewhere close to a major city. When I was in Arizona, I started getting the Orange County in California business journal so I could get the best of. And then we have the LA and the San Diego. Great place to find growing companies, private companies. I mean, it's just a great resource. And you can essentially, I'm going to make training one of these days on just how to even read the business journal and find great prospects every time you open the physical copy or online. Number 2, LinkedIn Navigator. Depending on the size of your clients, LinkedIn can be amazing as a resource to find and research. I wouldn't say that it is the be-all, end-all by any stretch of the imagination. But let's say you found someone in the business journal and you go to the LinkedIn Navigator, at least you can find out some, great information, how long they've been where they're at, and that type of thing. Now, if you're working with a group, a specific type of people that's in a large group, one thing that you can do is go into LinkedIn Navigator, set it up to where it notifies you with changes. Maybe they're switching jobs, this, that, the other thing, money in motion. So it's great for that. But on its own, I have not found it to be the be-all, end-all. But in combination with other sources, it is pretty good. The other thing I would say on LinkedIn is that, my client level is super high. That's my minimum's 10 million and going up from there. LinkedIn is not the best place for me to find the people I work with. They're on there in a lot of cases, but I'm not going to be able to just send them a message on LinkedIn and make anything happen. So just saying. Here we're getting into a little bit better industry-specific conferences. I like manufacturers. I like network marketers. There's different groups that I have found, some real estate developers. Each one has specific conferences. And what's beautiful is you can even go, even on Las Vegas's website, they have a conference website. And every single week there are industry specific conferences. And you can find money all day long at those things. One thing that if you are just getting started, you'd go to a conference or something like that, and main thing is to pay attention. Who are the people on stage? Who are the people that are donating to a cause? Who are, be very aware. And the longer the conference, the better, because you will meet people there. And here's one thing I would say: don't rent a table, don't do any of that stuff. Go if possible, go as just there at the conference as an attendee. And if people ask you, well, what are you doing here? Say, well, I work with people, or if you haven't worked with, I'm looking to work with people in this industry and wanted to learn more about what's going on in your industry. And I've done that several times, and you wouldn't believe who you meet. And it's just great because it's not cold calling and all that. You're meeting in person and able to connect with people that are natural to connect with. I mean, I don't ever force anything, just natural connection only. Number 4 on here, self-improvement conferences. This is now another step above the industry specific. Self-improvement conferences and masterminds, there's a lot of them out there. There's gurus all over the place. Pick something that you're super excited about and spend the money, and if they have a VIP, go VIP. Don't be at the back of the room, spending a couple $100. You might have to spend $2,000, but get up at the front of the room. An example would be, went to a Tony Robbins conference last year, and I'd never went live, but I went and got the VIP and all that. We had movie stars and everything, and my wife and I both went right next to. I mean, we made so many great connections at that event. And another event that I'm part of, or a mastermind, if you will, I'm working on a case right now. The person makes $25 million a year from that little group. It's not actually that little group, but it's not a cheap group to be in. Point is, I'm learning and growing, and at the same time meeting the right kind of people, and the kind of people that I already have something in common with right now. Here's one that there's unlimited amounts of money inside of, is charities and foundation events. Wealthy people use foundations to basically go around the tax system and give to causes that they care about or they're important to them. So the more you learn about charities and foundations, the more you'll learn there's more money than you could ever need to work with as an advisor inside those. The key is to get out, get involved. There are some great software programs out there where you can search them like crazy. One of them in particular would be GuideStar, a company called GuideStar. I think they have a free version as well. But incredible opportunity. Number one, you're able to give back. And number two, all the right people are involved in charity and foundations. Kind of a different area, but yacht and plane events. If somebody's buying a yacht or a plane or considering that, they usually have the kind of money that makes it pretty easy to build a client base. Modern wealth is easier than ever to find. But you ask most advisors, and they are like scratching their head, how do I get going? The only thing I would add to this list here, I mean, if you're so inclined, get involved in a church, that you care about, not something that just to go to, just to find people. That I wouldn't do that at all. I'm not suggesting that, but this is just a very short list, but within this, you could build $1 million practice really quick. Now, continuing on that, This is like I'm going to give you the 3 steps to $1 million practice, but on this one, I want to continue on a little bit and talk about something that's like a 4th step, but it's really just a tie-in to where the money is. What you want to do is find unique solutions for the exact clients you want to work with and no one else. Like you don't even want to look anywhere else. It's like hyper niching. So solutions providers are really excited when you walk in and say, hey, I work with people that are at this level and I saw you have this solution. Maybe it's a tax solution, insurance solution, whatever solution. And it could be your own company or whoever you go through. Like, hey, I want to do mega life insurance or leveraged insurance plans. And what you do is you go find exact fit, not kind of fit, but exact fit prospects. It makes marketing super easy. Messages as targeted as it can ever be. And here's the deal, like when you match, not to like retrofit somebody in to be a prospect, no, like they are 100% going to get a great experience with you. Your message will be effortless. And like an example of this, we do a lot of leveraged insurance, like using a bank's money to buy mega insurance policies, either for cash down the road or for estate planning, like estate tax discounting. And, there's a lot of advisors out there that have bastardized that whole process. Why? Because they take it to people that don't really have the means to be doing those type of programs. And, really anybody under 5 million net worth should not be looking at high-end leveraged insurance plans. In my mind, it's really anybody over 10, preferably when we do plans like that, the clients are over 20 million net worth. Why? Because that's ideal. It works. They have the staying power. If interest rates should change, etc. Point being, it's an exact solution for an exact client, not, well, it works for the guy with 10 million, but I'm going to take it down and sell it to this guy that's only got $1 million, and then 2 years from now, it's going to not work out. So that's what I'm trying to say. And every product, every solution, think of it like this, every solution has an ideal candidate. And what really grew my practice from way back even is I always tried to go to the maximum level solution. Like, okay, so this works at this level. What is a level that this works? How high can it go? And then go find a group of people that are just like that. When you do that, your results will be off the charts. That's how you build a $1 million and then a multi-million-dollar practice. Next, we're going to talk about really the 2nd step, which I'm just going to briefly talk about it here because I talk about it everywhere else. It's the 3 pillars of wealth. What the 3 pillars, before I get into the simple analogies, complex ideas, basically what it is, it's tax reduction, it's leverage, and it's passive income. The smarter you get in the 3 pillars of wealth, and not only what they are, but how to apply them, that is when you cross over into a comprehensive, not from the traditional industry professional that can go as high as you want to go. Why? Because that is the language of big money. And I know because I live, I work, and design strategy for crazy wealth. So the 3 pillars of wealth, always keep analogies, regardless how complex ideas are. Within, do they fit? Are they adding to or subtracting from these 3 pillars? It really creates deep dive wealth perspectives for you, which then you can share as needed with clients. It gives you a appreciation for all the finer details. And basically the rest of your career, once you really get involved with the 3 pillars, is always improving the solutions inside of your 3 pillars. Continuous improvement. Why? Because things are always changing. There's always other solutions that can be added to the mix. And I'm telling you, I'll do more training on the 3 pillars in other videos, but I'm telling you right now, what you're going to find, it's going to blow your mind because it's endless, the possibilities. But here's another use for the 3 pillars of wealth. Once you truly understand the 3 pillars of wealth, you will start looking specifically for clients that already have all 3 in place. And then your job will be to enhance and grow the 3 pillars. Why? Because when all 3 pillars are in place, it's not a matter of getting wealthy, it's how wealthy will you get, period. And finally, the third step is simple, but everybody, like 99.9% of advisors ignore this completely. Set a minimum. I don't care if you're at the end of your rope, set a minimum right now. It clarifies for you and for the people you work with who exactly you're going to work with. You can't have a message if you are going to work with everyone. And here's the point on that. If you don't have like a niche, if you will, with a minimum standard, you're trying to work with everybody. So now you work with nobody because nobody knows what you actually do. And the pressure of you have to know everything because you're not specific even in what you should be studying. You know, maybe you only want to work with, I want to work with people that have X, $1 million investable assets. Even if it's 200,000 of investable, it doesn't matter. You're not going to, if somebody comes in, they have $1 less than that, you don't work with them. It'll do so much, not only for your business because everybody will meet the standard above. It also is a great, I don't know, it's like soul cleansing because like even when you say no, you're actually saying yes to yourself. It builds a super smart business. The big clients get bigger. They're building things. They're building businesses. They have great careers. They're growing. So it makes everything fun. And here's the key. Keep going higher. Whenever you get bored at a level, keep going higher. Why? It makes you get better and better and better and learn advanced tax strategy and learn investment strategy. If you don't want to learn those, you become really good at finding people that are already an expert. A lot of experts are really bad at marketing. So you come in and say, hey, I'll go find the people for what you have. And, there you go. You're solving the biggest problem they have. And bottom line is you have a minimum. And when you come to somebody, like everybody's posting up those trainers and stuff on Facebook, like partner with CPAs. That's a great idea. I actually did that many years ago. It works. They get business off of you. You usually don't get any business from them. What you need to have is a minimum client level and keep growing that to a point where you walk in and you say, look, I don't even know, I'm actually shopping for my clients for a new CPA or a new attorney or new whatever. My minimum client is X. Do you have people like that? How many do you have like that? My largest client is XYZ. See what I'm saying? What would you do in their case? And guess what? You're going to filter out the bad apples. And there's a lot of CPAs and attorneys that once you get it deep in any way, they're not what you thought they were. So anywho, But let's say it is a great fit. Guess what? They're excited as all get out to work with you on the potential that you might bring them a client. So they're going to be answering your calls, referring you business, etc. Because it's a two-way street. Most advisors just walk in and say, hey, you know, I got some ideas. I'm an advisor. Let's partner up. That's no good. That'll be a one-way street to them, not to you. So if you enjoyed this training, that's great. I hope you got something out of it. I've also created another website where I share much more advanced, like how to take these concepts and really put them to work immediately. At the same time, it's not, don't think of it as like we're adding a bunch of new things. That isn't it. It's really refining and distilling what actually works. And I work in the very high end market, but it can be scaled down to lower levels. Again, you still need a minimum. And point is, the hardest part of building $1 million and beyond practice that isn't, you know, just spending a bunch of money in advertising. I'm talking about netting $1 million and moving up from there and not having large expenses or any of that, is unlearning the traditional training from the industry, because it's horrible and outdated, and finding resources and people that have already done what you're trying to do. And I am like every person on this call, probably worse in the past than a lot of people on this video, in the fact that, you know, heck, I was burned out and broke 10 years ago, and I left the business and was looking strictly to get out of it. And then I decided, you know what, I'm going to come back, but I'm going to become an expert when it comes to working with higher level money, and I'm not going to take anybody under a certain level. And I did it, and immediately everything changed. And now I'm blessed to work and live in very wealthy area. And the things I learned even from my clients are game changing. And that's why I'm so excited about this advanced training. So if you're into something like that, great. If you're not, hey, I'm going to keep putting out some of these videos like this, and I hope you get something from them, because this is the stuff that actually works. This isn't the theory. So anyway, with that, John Duncan, best of luck to everyone watching, and I'll talk to you soon.